Hello everyone and welcome to another episode with the Toronto Dog Whisperer. Okay, so today we are going to be covering a very common issue with almost all dogs, and that's the problem that a lot of dogs have when there's a thunderstorm or there's fireworks and they get really scared. And this is a very common problem. This is one of those things where it's actually natural for them to be a little bit wary. Thunderstorms in nature are common, and it's the summertime here, and it's definitely something where an animal's instinct is to seek out shelter or cover when there's a thunderstorm. Another common problem that is linked to it is fireworks. So I live downtown Toronto on the waterfront, so there's a lot of fireworks. We just had our Canada Day celebration on July 1st, so there was a bunch of fireworks. Now, this video is going to cover some of the techniques. Obviously, there are more techniques, but I'm just going to review a few really quick ones. So first of all, you can purchase something that's called a thunder jacket, I believe, which is a tightly fitting garment for a dog that helps calm them down, or wrap them up in a towel. The only problem with those products is you might not have them on hand, and it might be too late to put it on, because if they get too scared, there's not a whole lot that you can do at that point. So what I'm going to be talking about today is all about prevention and preparing for when something like this does happen. So the first thing that you want to do is, if you have a dog that is frightened of thunderstorms or whatever, downkins, is practice. And with all exercises, I always recommend taking your dog for a nice long walk. Before you do the exercise, it's just going to make everything a lot easier. They get their exercise. Not only do they get a bit of exercise, but they also feel fulfilled when it comes to what they're going to be doing. So it's really straightforward. You don't really need too much. Basically, all you need is your trusty leash, and I have some YouTube videos that we're actually going to use, although I only am going to use them for the sound. So basically, you want to have your dog on a leash when you do this exercise for the first time, because if their natural reaction is to run away and hide as soon as they hear the sounds, it can be really difficult to get them out of their hiding place. It can cause a lot of frustration, a lot of anxiety. So whenever you're doing an exercise, you always want to be prepared before you do it, so that when it comes to doing the exercise, you're not kind of taking 2 steps back and 1 step forward kind of thing. So a leash is advisable, and have a lot of time, a lot of patience before you start any exercise with your dog. So you want to get your dog on a leash and have them next to you. And the other thing that you're going to need is stereo. My stereo is very old, but it's loud enough. You don't want to start out too loud, but you do want to increase the volume as you go along. But when you first start out, you just want to start out with some relatively soft sounds when it comes to what you're going to do. So there's a lot of videos on YouTube, some with the sound of rain and a thunderstorm, and some with just the thunderstorm itself and no rain. I like to use the one without the rain because it just intensifies the thunderstorm sound. And basically what you want to do is remove the trigger. So dogs will hear something and it'll be a trigger for them to either get excited, or in this particular case they get scared. So what you want to do is practice. Obviously it's really hard to predict when a thunderstorm is going to happen. Fireworks, however, are much more predictable in that you usually know when the fireworks are going to go off, like the 4th of July, for example, for my American friends. So as you can see here, I have my iPad set up, and I have an Apple TV box, so it's connected and stuff. So I'm going to start off with some fireworks. Fireworks are very close to a thunderstorm in that they have a very similar sound. It's a loud, booming sound. So you can start them off with either. You can see these guys here. It's Mosley. That's my friend's dog Pepper, and everybody knows Mackenzie over there. They're fine with thunderstorms and fireworks, but again, it's really hard to show you guys some of the behavior, but if you have a dog that exhibits this behavior, you're going to know what I'm talking about. So I'm just going to start up the fireworks, and we are going to watch the dog's reaction. Kens, come. Here you go. Sit down. So you can see they're really close to the speakers, and I have the speaker set on stereo, so not surround sound or anything, just because it intensifies the sound a little bit. And we're going to go ahead and play some fireworks first. You can see the dogs didn't even react. They didn't get frightened, they didn't get scared. So I'm going to do it again, and this is the second step. I'm going to turn up the volume of my stereo to intensify the sound and to make it more intense. So volume, turn it up really loud, and this is what you want to do. You just want to practice. At first you want to practice with the volume relatively low, have them on the leash so that they can't run away, and then the most important thing is that you don't comfort them. Come Kenzie. So a lot of times people don't understand why their dogs are so scared. Well, the thing is, the initial fear is quite mild, but as human beings, it is natural for us to want to comfort our pets when they're feeling scared or anxious. And it's that comforting that actually intensifies the fear and makes it worse. So if I can give you one top tip, besides actually like practicing and taking your dog for a walk and all those other lovely things that I always recommend, is to stay neutral. Stay with your dog. Don't pet them. Don't talk to them. Don't comfort them. Don't use their name. Just stay with them until they calm down. Now, if you start the sound effects on your stereo and they start to get fearful, just turn the volume down or stop the music, wait till they calm down, and then start it all over again. So I've turned up the volume quite a bit, and I'm going to play it again. Go. So you can see that they're nice and calm. They didn't get scared. They didn't move. Again, these guys are used to thunderstorms and fireworks and stuff like that, so it's not a big deal for them. But what you want to do is practice this technique, depending on your dog's level of fear. On a regular basis, slowly but surely, they will calm down faster and faster and get used to the sounds. Now, eventually, what will happen is they won't even notice that there's a thunderstorm or anything going on. They might get startled, which is totally normal if they're asleep or something, and all of a sudden there's a bolt of lightning or some fireworks. But for the most part, they'll just stay pretty chill and pretty relaxed. They'll keep doing what it is that they're doing. You can see these guys are falling asleep, and that's the power of practice, is just getting your dogs used to the fact that just because they hear a certain sound, there's no need for them to get upset or to become fearful. So we can try it again with the thunderstorm. Now I just showed you little snippets because my dogs are not scared of either of those sounds. So fireworks or thunderstorms don't faze them at all. You can see Pepperoni here. She's totally relaxed. They look a little bit bored because they're like, what's going on here? There's not much excitement. But there you go. You've desensitized them to the sound. If you do it on a regular basis and you practice, depending on your dog's fear, eventually they're just going to be completely relaxed when they hear those sounds. So if you're out and about and a thunderstorm strikes and you don't have, your thunder coat or whatever, towel or stuff like that, really you don't need those things. I mean, you can buy them and they're a little bit quicker fixed than actually dealing with the issue, but this is a much longer term solution and you won't have a need for any type of equipment or clothing or towels or anything like that. And as long as you sit with your dogs and just basically the only thing you really need to do is prevent them from running away. You want them to confront their fears without trying to comfort them. So they will work through their fear, and they will eventually calm down once they understand that nothing bad is happening to them, and their fears are irrational and unwarranted. So that's pretty much it, guys. I really hope that helps. Take your time with this exercise depending on how fearful your dog is of these sounds. Start off with low volumes, and then work your way up to louder and louder volumes with longer durations, and eventually they're just going to relax. I mean, my dogs sleep right through thunderstorms, they sleep right through fireworks, and the air show happens right on the waterfront in downtown Toronto, so you have like fighter jets literally buzzing the building, and trucks and all those other sounds. The same technique works regardless, and just doing it over and over again until they completely calm down and they're no longer fearful. It's definitely going to work. I've done it with a number of dogs, and it's always worked. And that's it. So hopefully you guys got some value out of that and you enjoyed it. If you have tried this technique out and it's worked, leave a comment. I'd love to hear about it. And if anybody has any problems that they want me to address with their dogs that are much more specific, I do have a video on how you can get your dog featured on my channel. Just take some video, send it to me via Dropbox, and I'll put something together for you. Okay, guys, till next time. Guys, what do we say at the end of our videos? Oh my God, just sleeping. Amos, what do we say? Sit down. What does Mosley say? If you love your dog, take them for a walk. Take care.